So one of my worst fears has come to pass, and that is Carlos Queiroz returning to the AFC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He has taken the Oman job. Did you hear what I just said? Carlos Queiroz is going to Oman, which means we are in store for the most diabolical, defensive, trench warfare that would make World War I look like a layup line for the rest of round 4 qualifying. And this is obviously to get Oman to the World Cup, and I understand they want to go. First off, can we just talk about how sacking Jaber, who I actually thought had done a really good job with Oman, brutally harsh. And to get rid of him for Carlos Queiroz. Look, man, he's 72 years old now. My guy's been in Egypt. He's managed in Colombia. He's managed Qatar most recently. He had his easily most successful international stint with Iran, where, look, he revolutionized Iran. He might be the GOAT manager for Iran. He probably is the GOAT manager for Iran. If it's not him, it's Galinoy. He's responsible for the golden generation that's still together a decade later, so he deserves respect for that. However, in this case, for the Oman national team, it's a bit of an interesting one. Clearly, the entire objective is 5-5-0 formation, 0-0 draws, or 1-0 victories up until the World Cup. Now, from a pure football perspective, do I understand why the Omani FA did this? Kind of. This was the rationale. Carlos Queiroz has been to the World Cup. He's been there with Portugal, and he got there with Iran twice. Now, that second one is much more important. Why? Because he has proven success with Asian teams. Now, the huge difference here is that Iran are a top 3 powerhouse in Asia historically, and Oman are Oman. On an Asian tier list, they're probably a B-, C+ side, where periodically they do pull an upset, like against Japan in the last round of qualification, but they are definitely not a giant by any means. And they've had very little success at the Asian Cup all time. I'm spelling this out because some people will try to pretend like the power level of Oman and Iran are kind of similar. The other footballing argument here, and this is the one that I think makes more sense, and I think is the number one reason why anybody would appoint Carlos Queiroz, and that is he is very good at taking underdog teams and making them believe in themselves. He's just one of those father figure style managers who comes into the locker room, he puts his arms around the players, and he says, you know what, everybody's saying we can't do it. Let's go prove them wrong. And I think that mentality will definitely help with Oman because nobody is expecting them to qualify for the World Cup. So his message will be true. However, being a good public speaker and being a manager that the players like doesn't guarantee qualification to the World Cup. I think what annoys me the most is not that I have to watch these games, which God help us all. If we see an entertaining Oman game in the next 6 months, like, we are blessed. I would much rather have seen Oman stick with Jaber, give him time, and even if he fails, let him go into the next cycle. Because Carlos Queiroz is 72, bro. He's not sticking around. He is near the end of his career. Like, at the absolute most, he's hanging around until the 2027 Asian Cup. Which, again, it would have been cool to see what Jaber could do with his team building up to that tournament, and now that's never going to happen. And look, man, you could maybe make the argument for Indonesia, but either Oman or Indonesia are the worst team to advance to round 4. I'm not even going to talk about the Palestine penalty because there's no point. Palestine appealed. It was rejected by FIFA. Let's just move on. But tell me down below in the comments, were 0-0 draws and 1-0 victories impossible under Jaber in round 4? That's what I don't understand here. You got a guy who's actually Omani, who did a solid job. I don't think he had any amazing results as manager, but I don't think he also had any that were that bad. I mean, some people will say the Jordan game, but Jordan are better than Oman, period. Like, this is not a story. And now he's gone for Grandpa Queiroz, who's going to come in and bunker down. If you're Omani, let me know if this appointment excites you at all, because I'm looking at this just like, okay, like, here's Oman, a team that's already pretty defensive, appointing a manager who is defensive. Are we really gonna discover any revelations here? I will say, though, if Carlos Queiroz can advance Oman from round 4, either by winning the group and just boom straight to the World Cup, or even getting them to round 5 somehow, like, that's a pretty big achievement. Because I would say no matter how the groups shake out, they're going to be the favorite to be eliminated. Which, by the way, I will have videos covering round 4, so hit subscribe. And round 5 and all that other stuff. So for Omanis, I imagine they're kind of like meh about the appointment. Like, yeah, it could go well, but why not just stick with Jaber, who just got there, is doing plenty fine, and just see what he can do. Why not even let him ride it out until the next qualification cycle? What did you see in 2026 round 3 where you were like, Jaber is a fraud, he must be sacked now? Because I didn't see Oman underperform in any way, shape, or form. There's much more of an argument that they overperformed by eliminating Palestine and making it to round 4 than there is underperforming. And side note, what the hell is wrong with the Asian Football Confederation? Are these guys idiots? Why are they addicted to sacking managers? You know the saying, the grass isn't always greener? Well, I think in Asia, especially the Middle East, they believe the exact opposite. The grass is always greener because they're always looking for an alternative. I think there have been some really unjust sackings in this cycle so far, and I'm going to classify Rashid Jaber from Oman as an unjust sacking. Even if Carlos Queiroz gets Oman to the World Cup, I still think it was a harsh decision. Imagine you have a job and your manager gives you a set of objectives, you did every single one, and then you got fired. I don't think you'd be feeling very good. So yeah, man, this is just Asia being Asia, dude. There's absolute chaos left and right. Uzbekistan might sack Kapadze and bring in Joachim Low. I might make a separate video about that. Like, what on earth is going on here? I gotta look at the final death toll, but I feel like there's been, what, at least a dozen managerial changes since round 3 alone? If you go back to round 2, it's probably pushing 15 to 16 different managers. This is starting to look like the most dangerous work environment in the world of football. And for us neutrals, man, the fact that we have to watch Carlos Queiroz back again is terrifying. The probability of an Oman watch along on the channel just decreased by 50%. And you know what? I'm not sorry for saying that. If you want to appoint Carlos Queiroz, you deserve all the smoke that comes with that decision. Namely myself and all the other non-Omani Asian footy fans saying this is going to be an awful experience. Oman was already a pretty rough experience. I didn't know how it could get any worse. Cue Carlos Queiroz. So yeah, guys, comment down below if you're excited to see Carlos. Comment down below if you're excited to see Carlos Queiroz as Oman manager. Let me know if you think this is a good move or bad move. Let me know if you want to see more kind of one-off mini topics covering the AFC like this on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button. Hit subscribe for more AFC content here on DeadBall TV. And I'll see you guys in the next one.